Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves.
Alright everybody, welcome back to Near Mint Condition, and today we're going to be doing a first look at the DC Finest events, 0 Hour Crisis in Time Part 1. Alright everybody, welcome back to Near Mint Condition. I am Dom of X, comicreleases.com assistant editor and manager of the channel, and today we're going to be doing a first look at the events 0 Hour Part 1 trade paperback, which is again retailing for $39.99 at storefronts near you. This is the front of the cover with promotional art by none other than Dan Jurgens, Jerry Ordway, as those two are prominently featured down below, but there are way too many creators to talk about at the drop of a hat with the front, so I understand subsidizing it to just those two creators. Here's a look at the spine, vertical and horizontal. I'm not even going to lie, the events part of the trade paperback looks a little bit weird to me. I don't know how exactly I feel about it, because on a bookshelf I personally like seeing something else besides the events parts, but hey, that is what we are going to deal with, of course, with extant down below, along with 1994 on the years of the spine. Here is a look at the Time is Under Attack presenting DC Finest stories with none other than select covers from Doug Moench's Batman run, 0 Hour, Mark Waid's Flash run, and so much more. History was being unwritten in this collection, collecting everything that you see at the bottom, including Superman 93, Flash 94, Legion 70, Green Lantern 55, Man of Steel 37, of course that's Superman, Teen Titans 24, Dark Stars 24, Valor 23, Batman 511, Batman Shadow of the Bat 31, Detective Comics 678, Legionnaires 18, Hawkman 13, Showcase issues 8 through 9, Steel number 8, along with Superboy number 8, Outsiders 11, and 0 Hour Crisis in Time issues 4 through 3. And I'll get to that in a minute. Let's go ahead and look inside the book. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the DC Finest event 0 Hour Crisis in Time Part 1. Definitely an interesting choice by DC to have this be the first event that they are doing in this format. Here's a look at the cover of the inside as well. Dan Jurgens, again, Jerry Ordway teaming up to do this event. Jerry Ordway, one of my favorite artists ever of the 80s. I did the Power of Shazam, obviously. Here's a look at the inside with all of the editors there on the left, and there is a lot, including assistant editor Peter J. Tomasi, artist, editor turned writer, I should say. And here is also a look at the table of contents, and I'm actually going to flip over and say that this is mapped in the exact same way as the omnibus is concerned. So if you are looking to save a little bit of money, this is the way to go. You can be assured that you will be saving some mule. If you don't want to spend $175 on that big bad boy, you can spend it on $40 and another $40 later next year, so you can get the entirety of 0 Hour. Let's go ahead and talk about it, may I? And talking about this here, and I also can't begin to tell you. The first thing I saw when I started reading the Omni was that Cable? What's going on? Well, I'm gonna explain all of that in a second. Yes, the 90s were definitely a weird and tumultuous time at every company. And I don't want to say tumultuous because a lot of people grew up in the 90s, but me, like as a kid, if I were reading this in the 2000s, I probably would have been asking myself, man, what have we come to? Is this really what comics are like? And okay, I promise that is the last I'm going to rag on the 90s. But this really is DC's first attempt, I should say, at trying to recapture a lot of the same essence that Wolfman and Perez drew with Crisis on Infinite Earths. Infinite Earths, in the Crisis, I should say, that happened for those 3 years of continuity, really did set the bar so high as far as the storytelling and the way that an event was formalized was concerned. I'm really, really surprised that they actually didn't go to that in this format first, but I think that they wanted to save a little bit of money because they would have burned through plenty of paper with reprinting that entire Crisis in the box set. But this is DC's sequel, our first attempt at a sequel, I should say, because of course we would get Infinite Crisis in 2005, Final Crisis in 2008, and of course Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths in 2022. So the dice never stops with DC Comics. In fact, I would even say, I think the main reason to why they did Zero Hour first, because Absolute Power is very much in the same, has a lot of the same tonal lashes that Zero Hour has. So I think in that same way, maybe DC said this is how we got to do it. Maybe they went and saw, oh my goodness, that's how much the omnibus is selling for. Let's go ahead and do this. And also, to note, there are pages here, as you can see on the bottom, that do have the page numbers. A lot of them don't. I think a lot of DC books right after 1989 were printed anyways. I think you're going to see a lot of these DC Finest formats stop doing the page count, which is kind of disappointing, but that is what you are dealing with. And not only do you have whatever happened to Hank Hall being part of the central event, you of course do have this series being pushed into a countdown to 0 hour, the clock strikes 0. So obviously you're going to be ending this with an issue 0. Issues 4 through 3 are in here. So when I was talking about issues 4 through 3, they're going in reverse. That is the same format that you're going to be reading yourself in. And like I said, the goal for this was not only to try to recapture a lot of the spirit that Crisis on Infinite Earths had, you also have this really being the poster child for trying to fix continuity, which I think after Crisis on Infinite Earths was a little bit of a mess. I will not lie. You had a lot of different interpretations of some characters, including Superman under the pen of John Byrne, and of course everybody who came after during the Triangle Era years, and then Wonder Woman with George Perez, and some titles continuing to keep up the spirit, such as Batman. But a lot of characters were changed under the roof set after Crisis on Infinite Earths, and frankly there were still some issues to deal with, so this was their answer to saying, can we continue to push the envelope and also fix everything that we messed up incidentally? That is the deal with plenty of the stories that are in here. Also including that is none other than continuity whiz, at this time anyways, Mark Waid. Mark Waid writes some of the stories in here, including a Legionnaire story that I will also get into. But yes, continuity is everywhere in this book. Why is Barbara Gordon walking again? Why is Frank Miller's Batman showing up in the pages of Superman Man of Steel? Why is Legion ending at issue 70? We're getting a new Legionnaires book? Like, what's going on here? What is going on? It's interesting. It's Superman, obviously not, or we just had Reign of the Supermen happen with Cyborg Superman and Superboy and everybody else coming about saying, you know, what was it like during this time reading a lot of these stories? I actually managed to reach out to a friend because I hate that a lot of these DC Finest stories have really just been me asking people who are alive at the time or people who are collecting these stories what they actually were. And he said he remembered the point of when he was a kid, he didn't know if Clark Kent was coming back. He thought the new Cyborg Superman was literally going to be the Cyborg Superman. So a lot of it is being placed into your shoes, curiously asking, why do we have to deal with so many Hawkmen and all of the different origins? What is Superman going to be about? And also, something happens to Green Arrow in this book that I don't want to spoil. So you are dealing with plenty of this racket of new status quos and new teams informing about. This really was DC's big attempt at trying to lash everything with all the brand new worlds that they created and trying to make something spin out of it. And all of these titles, including Mench's Batman you get to see the after effects of what it means for the clock to strike zero. And in that same form, you have Hal Jordan destroying Coast City as Parallax, and Kyle Rayner taking on the new mantle of Green Lantern. This was an interesting time to be a DC fan, and while I don't fully recommend it for all the new people who are getting in, because I do think that it is the crisis that is the least accessible in format, just because of all the continuity messes and what they're trying to do in the span of just 5 issues. It really is an interesting case in point, held by a thin thread. DC continuity was at this point, and a recurring theme for the company, right? This doesn't just stop here. We deal with the same problems when you go to Infinite Crisis. You deal with the same problems when you go to Flashpoint. You deal with the same problems when you're going to Dark Knight's Death Metal. This is going to be a recurring theme for DC Comics. But this event, I think, was the poster boy for what continuity was going to mean at a company like this, with so many rich characters, and also ending in a set line of, can you really function continuity in a way that not only makes sense in trying to condense everything that came about that was broken, but can you at the same time make a riveting story out of it? This was DC's second attempt at doing that. What people say is their opinion of the story. It will definitely let me know in the comments down below if you guys like Zero Hour. But this, if you are looking for a DC Finest to put on your shelf and say, read this comic to see how wild the DC universe can be, I think this is the textbook definition of it. There are so many moments in here that just have me bawling, scratching my head in a good way, and making me want to read more of the DC universe. I mean, that is the ultimate goal, I think, of these books. And Zero Hour, I do think, with all of its problems, with its also being stuck in its own set in time, it does hold a weird special place in my heart for making me greatly appreciate what every single creator had to do under this blanket of trying to push back continuity in a thing that makes sense. We're all in one Earth. Let's try to formulate it so people understand that too. This isn't just one person doing random it really is a group effort by everybody to make sure that the DC universe was going to make sense again, and that I think is what they are going to continue doing as far as this is concerned. And that, as they say, is that. Now, if you're looking to purchase this DC Finest collection, you can check it out at our sponsors.
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know near mint condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. BD Cosmos, the Canadian leader in graphic novels. They have a physical storefront in Montreal, Quebec, and their website, bdcosmos.com, offers 25% off your order of over $99 or more, and free shipping everywhere in Canada for every order of $200 or more.
Their shipping care is exceptional. Your books will stay cozy through the rough Canadian weather and arrive to you in near mint condition.
After checkout, let them know near mint condition sent you their way, and you'll be added to the monthly $25 gift card raffle. Entries are valid for new and returning customers.
Don't be afraid to call or email them. Ask them questions. Their staff is always happy to help guide you towards the right purchase. Visit their website, bdcosmos.com, for more. BD Cosmos, with rewards and raffles taking care of customers in Canada. Eh?
That is going to be it from me. I'm Dom of XUBU. Stay fresh, Minties, and dominate the day wherever you go.